Good morning. Happy Friday. I seem to have sparked a lot of people with my discussion of me remaining firm in my principles, including with regarding to Earl, and not being swayed by emotion. Oh, you're just not empathetic. Oh, you're this, you're that. You don't know. Your wife's never been raped. Your daughter's never been raped. Ugh, my emotion. The long and the short of it is that my principles don't give two shits about your emotion. My principles, in fact, don't give two shits about my emotion. My principles win. My principles win all the time, every time. Because if you abandon your principles, then they're not principles. They're suggestions at that point. They're not guidelines. If my daughter was raped and the rapist did his time and was released, I would not like him. I would not invite him over to dinner. But at the same point in time, I wouldn't go around trying to ruin the rest of his life. Because as a society, we have determined his punishment. And yes, as a society, we determine punishments for crimes. And as a society, we have determined the various sentencing guidelines, which do vary by state, for rape and for child molestation. The statutes are set by the legislatures. That's what it is. If you don't like it, you can get your state assembly person or state legislature person to change it. But that's what we have determined as a society is a just punishment for those crimes. And since as a society we have allowed these people to return to society, then we have to deal with them as members of society. Now, as far as your rape victim narrative is concerned, well, what about every single person convicted of rape who has served their time but who didn't do it? What about them? Because yes, people get wrongly convicted. We're not a perfect system. We're not a perfect society. Should we continue to deny them the right to work, the right to speak? I don't think so. Should we associate ourselves with them? No. Not if you enjoy your optics. What if your son was accused of rape and convicted of rape and he did his time, and you know your son, and you know it was a one-off thing? Would you want your son to be shunned by society for the rest of his life? I mean, you'd probably understand if people didn't want to associate with him, but would you want your son to not be able to get a job? Not be able to speak in public? I don't think you would. So your emotion arguments are terrible. They're shitty. They're crap. My principle argument, which is everybody has rights and we should respect and defend everybody's rights, is not emotionally based. It's stronger because it's not emotionally based. It's consistent. You're not going to see me operating hypocritically. People react to me and they say to themselves, oh, well, I hate Earl, and this guy's beating up on Earl, therefore he must also hate Earl because I think emotionally, and so he must think emotionally. And so when he changes and he says, you know, actually there was a time where Earl actually caught a rapist. Earl defended a woman from being raped. People are like, Oh my God, my head's exploding. You can't say something nice about a guy you hate. Well, I don't hate Earl. I don't hate Earl. And reality is reality, and people are complicated. And your emotional response is your problem. It's your emotional response. And I am not going to change based on your emotional responses. I'm going to stick to my principles because I like my principles more than I like you. You're not empathetic. Okay. What's your point? This is freedom of speech. You are learning about freedom of speech when I say things you don't like. And you have to just deal with it. Guess what, kids? All day, every day, people say shit I don't like. In my comments, at work, opposing counsel never says things that I like. A lot of times my clients say things I don't like. I have to defend people who do things that I don't like. But this is freedom of speech. And if you think I'm going to bend on that principle, well, you're fucking retarded. I'm going to speak my mind. And I don't care about your emotions. I'm not going to limit my speech to make you feel good about yourself. This is reality. This is the world. We've had too much of that bullshit. Oh, you can't say that, you'll offend somebody. And then we grow up with a bunch of weak little people who can't debate about politics or without getting upset. People who can't. You okay? You can throw up? You okay? I don't know if you can see her, she's just wheezing. Come on. I think she has allergies. She's done that before when she's had allergies. We have a political system now where because we have tone policed everybody's speech so much that, oh my God, everybody who says anything that is slightly offensive is a Hitler, is Nazi. It's retarded. So no, I think you should be allowed your freedom of speech to show how emotionally manipulated you are and how emotionally manipulative you are. And I should be allowed my free speech to reject your emotional manipulations and to stick to my principles. E-butt done? No? She's still wheezing and stuff. Anyway. So that's my thought. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about principles? What principles do you have that you'll stick to? And if you can't think of any principles that you wouldn't stick to if your daughter or your wife had to suffer negative consequences from it, then they're not principles. You don't have any. You're just like the hypocrites in the rest of the First Amendment community that advocate for freedom of speech for themselves and take freedom of speech away from others. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You're free to differ. I hope everybody's looking forward to Friday, or to Friday afternoon when you get off work, and a lovely weekend. I know I always look forward to the weekend until the weekend comes, and then I'm like, man, I got a lot to do at work. I really wish I could get back to work and get it going. One of the perks of loving your job. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope people have learned something about this, from this. Maybe figure out what's important to you and stick to it for once. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.